Hello and welcome! Today I'm going to show you how I make my vegan prosciutto from washed flour. This salty, savory, and even a little bit funky mock meat is perfect for your next charcuterie, wrapped around your favorite fruits or veggies, or baked on top of a pizza. If you haven't washed flour before, please check out my flour washing tutorial, which you can find on Seitan Society's YouTube channel and at seitansociety.com. For this recipe, I'm starting with 6 heavy cups of bread flour in one bowl, and I've prepared 3 cups of water with vegan red food dye. I'm going to start by using only about 2.5 cups of water, and I'll add a little bit more as I go. I've set up another heavy 2 cups of bread flour for the fat streaks, and I'm adding 2/3 of a cup of water to start. Just like the first, I'll add a little more if I need it. Let your dough balls rest for at least an hour, either covered with water or a damp cloth. It makes no difference, but I prefer the water. I use it in my first wash so it doesn't get wasted, and I'm not bringing any laundry into this. While you're waiting for those to rest, it's a great time to make the seasoning paste. Grate a shallot over the small holes on a cheese grater and remove any pieces of the skin that try to slip past. Once you have enough for 3 tablespoons worth of pulp and juice, add it to a small pot along with 4 finely minced cloves of garlic, a 1/4 cup of red wine, this one's a little dry and peppery, 2 tablespoons of red miso paste, 2 tablespoons of vegan Worcestershire, 1 teaspoon packed light brown sugar, a couple of bay leaves, and about 4 sprigs of fresh thyme. Bring the mixture to a boil, then simmer and keep stirring until most of the liquid has evaporated. You want to cook this down into a pasty, sludgy consistency. I'm adding another drop or 2 of red food coloring to help make this a little less brown as it swirls through the dough. Once you've got it to this texture, set it aside and it will continue to thicken as it cools. I washed both of these dough balls almost thoroughly to the point where my water was just a little bit hazy. Normally you don't want your seitan to get rubbery, but prosciutto is a very tough and chewy meat, so that is kind of the texture I'm aiming for. When you're done washing, make sure to let the dough drain and rest for at least 20 to 30 minutes. After draining for about a half hour, these are ready for seasoning. Just wring out as much excess water as you can. Starting with my white dough ball, I'm adding a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, and MSG. Feel free to leave that out if you don't want it. I just got this titanium dioxide and figured I'd test it out by adding a pinch. Once blitzed, put this dough aside to rest. On to my red dough ball. Remove the thyme stems and bay leaves from your reserved seasoning paste and add it to your processor. Maybe try not to make as much of a mess and get it all over everything like I did. Next, add 2 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of mushroom powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of MSG, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground white pepper, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground allspice. Now that the seasonings have been incorporated, these dough balls are going to need a little time to rest. I let them sit and drain for about 15 minutes to lose some of the excess liquid. I'm starting by ripping each dough ball into 3 pieces and sloppily laying them, spreading them out over each other as I go. Since I used red food dye, I don't need to worry about the color bleeding into the white. I'll come back and check on this in about an hour. An hour later and this gluten is getting stronger, but I think it still needs more time. I'm just going to fold this in half and let it sit again. Another hour has gone by and I think it's pretty good. The red dough still tears more easily than the white, but I'm confident this will be fine. It'll rest a little bit longer as I prepare my steamer. While my steamer pot is heating up, I'm wrapping the seitan. I use aluminum foil, but if you don't want that to touch your food, you can add parchment paper in between. And if you don't want to use it at all, you could try cheesecloth or muslin. Whatever you choose, make sure it's wrapped pretty tight to help it stay firm as it steams. Roll it up and twist the ends like a sausage, then flatten it out a little bit to make it slightly blockier and easier to slice. Steam it like this for about an hour. It should feel pretty firm when it's done. Then, keeping it wrapped, let it come to room temperature and let it rest in the fridge overnight so it continues to firm up. My prosciutto has rested overnight and it's ready to be sliced. You want to go as thin as you possibly can with this or it will be too chewy. Brush the pieces with a little oil to add some much needed fat to this and shine it up for a beautiful presentation. Find the full list of ingredients along with the written out method for this at seitansociety.com. Happy cooking and thanks for watching!